Wherever you are, welcome to another of my takes from a very healthy China. Apparently there's a new virus here and it's worse than COVID, or at least this is what I'm hearing from some friends in the West right now. There are pictures of crowded hospitals, grey skies, and can you believe it? Photos of people wearing masks? Many questions are coming to me from all over the world. Is it true? The simple answer, no, it's not. First of all, remember, this is a country that didn't lock down straight away when SARS hit just 20 years ago, and this is the same country that did effectively stem the flow of COVID for almost 3 years until that had mutated into a less harmful disease. In other words, this is a country that's learned from its mistakes and will not make the same mistake again. It's also a country where, as we're constantly being told in Western media, local officials are terrified of doing something wrong, so they will overreact rather than underreact. That's not true, but we're told that it is. So if there was a disease in any part of China today that had the potential to be another SARS or COVID-19, I'm willing to bet the entire contents of my bank account that China would already have acted on it. The World Health Organization would know about it, and it would be in every reputable media outlet in the world. Instead, we have disreputable media outlets attempting to tell us that there's something wild happening in China right now, when, as always, after they say it is, it actually isn't. I've been in my local hospital twice in the last few days, and there's nothing strange going on there at all. Now, I can't speak for anywhere else, but it is winter, and when winter happens, flu happens, and even coughs and colds. And I assure you, this is the same every year, everywhere. No different. But here's the difference. There are no GPs in China. Everyone who gets sick goes to the hospital. That's normal. And therefore the hospitals do get pretty crowded. And remember, as I've mentioned many times on this channel, China is a developing nation. The hospital system is much better than it was 20 years ago when I came here, and far superior to 50 years ago. But one thing needs to be remembered is that China has an increasing life expectancy. And you don't get that in a declining health system. So the system is constantly getting better. It's affordable, it's highly efficient, but it's always busy. Last week, on Monday, it was very busy. I've seen it busier. But a few days later, on Thursday, I was there again. I saw the doctor, had a consultation, paid my bill, picked up my medicine, and was out in 40 minutes. The same experience just 2 months ago took me 5 hours. So it all depends on the day we go, how busy they are. It's not easy to predict, but if we allow half a day to go to the hospital, we're never disappointed. Sometimes we're surprised. So as with all misinformation, there's usually a small percentage of truth. Otherwise, we could call the media just straight out liars rather than serial misinformers. There is no danger at all as far as I can ascertain from this small kernel of truth. There's been an increase in the number of HMPV, human metapneumovirus cases, but not to any alarming degree. This disease is widely recognized, more than 20 years old, rarely serious, and most of it have had it several times in our lives. There are some at-risk groups, such as organ transplant recipients, asthma sufferers who are on steroids, and HIV sufferers. But there's no need for any alarm anywhere where this disease manifests itself. And I'm 100% certain if there were any danger from any new or existing disease in China, the Chinese government would have acted on it well before the media would have known about it. It took me about 10 minutes to establish what's really happening. I checked this with 2 friends I have who are doctors. One is in mainland China, here in Zhongshan, and the other is a former student of mine who is a doctor in Macau. Now, anyone in Western media could just as easily have done what I did. They chose to run with this collapse of the health system and bodies piling high theory. Because, of course, they not only sell more clicks, but these stories feed on the narratives of misinformation about China. As always, when these rabidly anti-China horror stories come out of Western media sources, they're supported by old photographs, anonymous sources, and out-of-context videos. So please bear this in mind when listening to people telling you China is a dangerous place to visit. They simply don't want you to visit. You might find that they've been lying to you for years. Now, one thing is true of any story. You can feed the lie, you can extend the lie, and you can promote the lie, but eventually the truth comes out. And the way the truth will come out in this case is going to be through nothing happening, no lockdowns, no more deaths than normal seasonal deaths, and a continuation of the most important statistic of China's armory, the fact that life expectancy rate still has not declined in more than 70 years. Now, of course, I could be wrong. But based on what I'm seeing here and my own experiences, I don't think I am wrong. And based on the fact that almost everything I've ever read in Western media about China is negative, distorted, and misinformation, I'm going to say there's a better than 50% chance that I'm right, and a much better than 50% chance that Western media are wrong. As always, only time will tell, but when time tells us I'm right and they're wrong, let's see what other story they've moved on to in the hope that we will all have forgotten that they were wrong again. Please feel free to visit China. You will have a healthy experience, unless you get very unlucky. Most of us don't get that unlucky. I'll see you next time. Bye for now.